It's great to be in your company once again. And as we build up to Qatar 2022, I've made a promise to you on behalf of the JoySports team. And what is it? I'll be bringing you these big conversations, intimate conversations that have backstories of our participation in the FIFA World Cup. 3 at the count, as we've always talked about, and we're going on to number 4. But what are the major stories in the background which have shaped the vision and are continuing to drive that vision of Ghana's performance at the FIFA World Cup? Well, here with me today is a fine gentleman that everybody admires to bits because he brought a new brand of leadership to the Black Stars. When Ghana was struggling to qualify for the FIFA World Cup, it was he who led his charges and brought everybody, rallied everybody together to ensure that Ghana secured qualification in the long run. After the qualification, Ghana had to participate in the Africa Cup of Nations. It did not go well. But once again, he inspired a lot of confidence in the playing body, in the administrators, and in the whole support base of Ghana. And Ghana's participation in the first edition was great. Well, years on, he's told a very remarkable story of service to nation. And in terms of bringing people together, he also has a way of doing it. Do remember that some of our guests have also spoken about his quality, how he's able to include everybody. And that, plus many other things, are what I'll be asking him here on the show. The El Capitano, Stephen Tornado Appiah, the inspirational captain of the Black Stars, who's now hung his boots or plays different roles. Capitano,
yes, sir.
Thank you very much for your time. It's great to see you.
Good to see you.
Great to see you. You look good. You look good.
Man is still training.
The
so
gym and the gym regimen is still very much
I'm still
on.
doing the gym, but these days I do more of tennis. So this morning I went to Labadi Beach Hotel to play tennis. Yeah.
Okay. Are you becoming good? We should have a game between yourself and Asamoah Gyan. It'll be great.
It will happen one day. I think before Christmas we are planning to play that game.
Wow.
Recently I played against Bafojan. I lost 6-3, 6-2.
Okay.
But I'm new in the game. I started playing February, but I'm doing very, very well.
Oh.
I'll be better.
All right, we'll see about that one. Stephen, it's been interesting, the story that you have told with Ghana, and taking Ghana to that level of football has been amazing. You took over the Black Stars at a time when there were other senior players. You've told us that story already. But then we made it to 2006. Immediately after that, you started having your health challenges. You had to wrap the career up, and we thought it was done. And then we saw you in 2010 as well. That must have been interesting, yeah?
Well, yeah, it is, and I always say that I'm the most luckiest guy on Earth planet, because at that time, before the World Cup 2010, I was unattached. I mean, I wasn't playing any active football, and I didn't know what happened. I mean, with the technical team, the FA, and everybody. I mean, everybody wanted me to be there, including some of the players. So I didn't know what I have that make it happen. But it was very interesting, because at a point I wasn't counting myself. Even though I played all the qualifiers, I was still captain the team. We qualified, but at a point I was like, I wasn't sure if I would make it to the World Cup. But I mean, luckily, yeah, I went to South Africa with the team.
There is this aspect about the transition of leadership between yourself and John Mensah. Yeah. In other countries, it has created problems. The players involved get on, cold wars and all of that. And sometimes there is even factionalism in the team. How did you embrace that idea that you are going to play in the Black Stars and not wear the captain's band? I mean, for some of the fans, it was unbelievable. It was not...
Well, I think somebody was captaining the team, and the person lost the armband and they gave it to me. So I always have this thing in my mind that, I mean, in life, we shouldn't think about ourselves. And when it comes to football, it's collective. So you are playing with other players, and you have to let them feel good as well. I mean, at my time, 2001, I was given the captainship. I was appointed as the captain when we played against Slovenia in Ljubljana. So when the coach did the selection, he said, "Oh, today Stephen Appiah is the one who will captain the team." I raised my hand and Kudu Fianu, everybody was there. And I raised my hand and I was like, "Oh, I think Olele is a senior player, so if somebody should be the captain, I think Olele deserved to be the captain." So Olele was sitting next to me. He tapped my shoulder and said that, "Stephen, I mean, just take it. We will support you." So I came, we played the match, we lost, we came back home, we had a meeting at the Accra Sports Stadium, all the players, including the coach, the Serbian coach. And that's where he officially appointed me as the captain. But that friendly game against Slovenia, I captained the team. So when they gave it to me, we went to a place at Osu, interesting story. We went to a place at Osu called Appiah. I was so happy, you know, that, hey, now I'm the captain of the senior national team. So I went there with my friends. We have fun, we eat, we had a drink and all that. So after that, I came back home and I was sitting at my porch alone. So the thing hit me. I was like, okay, now, I mean, reality check. You are you are alone and you ask yourself questions. And I was like, it's not an easy task. I mean, being the captain of the national team is not going to be easy. But I heard a voice telling me that, oh, okay, I know it's not going to be easy. The only thing you have to do, don't be selfish. I mean, unite the guys, because you are going to play with other players. It's not you alone. So you have to let everybody feel good. And I think that I was so lucky. That's what I did, and it works. It works for me at my time.
Wow, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Well, you were there in 2006. A very interesting set of qualifiers. For the first time, Ghana found a solution to the South African jinx during the qualifiers and all of that. You know, the heroics. Eventually, when we went to Cape Verde and we realized it was all wrapped up and everything. You are described as somebody who likes to bring everybody along, especially your top lieutenants. I mean, if you were the general of the army, you'd like to bring along all your top lieutenants. Why? Why? For instance, you are invited for, and these are testimonies that have been given to me. So there's a meeting between yourself, the captain, and the FA president, and you always bring along a senior player or two. Why were you doing that?
Well, I think at times, I mean, taking decisions, you have to let, because of the past experience, so you have to let other players to know what is going on. So they are like witness. I mean, whatever I do with the FA, I always love to have 3 or 4 players to come with me. And it was the same time that, you know, before the professional players, they have a certain, I mean, amount percentage that they get winning bonuses, and those who doesn't play. So it was my time that I was like, oh, okay, I think that it's not fair on some of the players, because at the end of the day, we train together. Some of them help us to train well. So if we have to share something, we have to share it equally. So that's where we change that thing, that everybody should get the same winning bonus.
I see.
Yeah.
It must have been received very well.
Oh yeah, they were very, very happy. And interesting thing, I think my time, when you come to our I mean, you have been there so many times. When you come to our camp, you can even see the difference between the local players and the professional players, the foreign players. I mean, being the captain that time, everything wasn't me. At times, randomly, I choose some of the local players. Okay, today there's an interview. You are going to do the interview. I wanted them to feel that they are part of the team. So, I mean, it was an interesting moment.
We'll talk about yourself and the relationship between yourself and the coaches you worked with. I mean, we'll talk about you and Ratomir Djukovic, you and you know, Mariano Barreto and the like. But let's talk about you and Richard Kingston, who clearly and obviously was the one who had to give a final stamp, even though the big decision rested solely with the coach. Tell me about the relationship after. I mean, after he gave that massive endorsement, you know, relating with him and leading a team that had him in there.
Well, that time in Ljubljana, when we played against Slovenia, Richard Kingsley was my roommate.
I see.
Yeah, so just imagine, I mean.
Did you ask him why he did that? When you went in the room and you two were together, did you ask him why did you do that?
Yeah, I did, and he was
What
like,
did he tell you?
No, it was like, I mean, Richard is one of the coolest guy, I mean, you ever roll with. Because I remember when we went to, I was a bit shy. I was a bit shy because I knew that he is a senior player, and he's not just a senior player. He has the experience. He's our number one who was doing so well. So he deserved the armband. So he telling me that, Stephen, tapping my shoulder and saying that, just take it. We will support you. I mean, everything will be fine. So when we went back to our room, I was like, Lele, but you have to take the thing. It's not my 10 year. He said, Charlie, I don't know if you're later about you. And since then, we never spoke about it again. But anytime that we are in camp, I mean, if anything, I call upon him. He always help.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting stuff. We're talking about the coaches as well and the relationships that I remember very well. Anytime there was a big moment, like a goal had been scored, you'd go up to Mariano Barreto and you'd give him a big hug and pat him on the back, tap him on the back, you know, like two siblings who are relating. When we sat behind and we saw those, we saw a special relationship. But you need to tell us about it.
Well, I think, I mean, being in the game, playing so many years in Italy, I realized that most of the coaches, being on the sideline, they are under pressure. So at times, I did that for him to feel good. Feel good, to release some
tension.
Tension out of him. So that's why you see players like Gattuso. A lot of players, after goal being scored, they go to the coaches. They shake them like they wanted them to feel. Because some of the coaches, most of the coaches, they are part of the game, even though they are on the sideline. That's why you see coaches like Mourinho, Antonio Conte. They will be throwing their legs and making a lot of gestures. So they see themselves that they are part of the game. So at times we want to let them feel okay by going to them and saying that, Charlie, it will happen.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. The switch from Barreto to Djukovic.
Yeah.
How did you guys handle it?
Barreto, I think it was 2004 Olympic Games. I mean, that famous thing that I have to, Juventus wanted me to stay, and I wanted to come and play at all costs at the Olympics, and I went back and it became...
There was trouble.
Yeah, but I mean, so it happens when we camp at Lisbon. And,
Portugal.
Portugal. And Barreto always coming to me. I mean, of course, I was one of the senior players because myself, I think Peter,
Uruguay.
Yeah, and another player. So, you know, that time they said that you can have 3 extra players to the team. So we were those players who joined the team. And when I arrived, Barreto, we had a meeting, and he was like, okay, I mean, you coming from Juventus, I wanted you to be the captain. And I was like, oh, me being the captain, I don't think that it will be cool. I think Chipsa is the captain, and he still deserves to be the captain. So we spoke about it, and I think that because I was so open and honest to the coach, so he fell in love with me. So I said that no, I'm not going to accept the ban. I mean, let Chipsa.
This was for the Olympics.
Yeah, Olympics. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, 2004 in Athens. Yeah. So Chipsa became our captain. So anytime we're on platforms when we talk, I always call Chipsa my captain.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So we had that relationship, and then switch to
the Black Stars. Yeah. The Black Stars. I see. Now, how much of an influence did you have on the coaches? We've had areas where captains, and in some teams it's practiced, where captains, you know, have a say as to who they even want to see in the, you know, and the coaches take their word for it. How much of an influence did you have on each other? I'm talking about you and all the coaches you worked with, you know, for the Black Stars, especially for the qualification for the FIFA World Cup.
Well, influence, I think my influence was always showed on the pitch because there were instances where the coaches, they wanted to involve me with the call-ups and other stuff, but I always tell them that that's not my job. And I didn't want to do that because, I think our time, I was so lucky to have players who have the same goal. I mean, we have to be in the World Cup. So, I mean, trying to manage such players, it was very, very difficult. These are players who are equally good as myself. You have Lai Kinson, you have Michael Essien, you have Sule Mutari, players were coming in, going out, Chipsa. You have Thierry when we played against South Africa in Kumasi. He was the man of the match. We have a lot of players who were very, very good. So I didn't want to involve myself in certain things, even though I have not that I have the right, even though I can chip in one or two. But I wanted the coaches to do their own thing. And I think that doing that, the coaches realize that this guy is real. You know that some people, because of the armband, they will love to take certain advantage of the play. So call my friend, do this and do that. I never ever involve myself in that. So my influence, I think that is always, I make sure that I will prove it on the pitch. Yeah.
Wow, interesting stuff there. Did you ever have the opportunity to speak to the players who were dropped? Anytime players were dropped, especially when the decisions had to be taken. Let's focus first on 2006. Yeah. All those players who had to be dropped from, you know, after the final set of training tours.
Yeah, I did. And those days, it's not like they would drop you here before you get to your, the destination of the tournament. We have seen players who have been dropped at the airport so many times. And at times you have to put yourself in their shoes. I mean, you have been in camp for so many months, hoping that you'll be part of a tournament, and all of a sudden you have been dropped. I think nobody will be happy. I mean, nobody will happy to experience that. So most of the time, I will call them, and I mean, I talk to them. Some of them, not everything that I would say into the camera, but I mean,
tell me about the toughest. I mean, you've mentioned you don't want to mention specific names, but tell me about the toughest situation you had to handle when it came to managing a player who had been dropped, speaking to them.
So you see, I think, let me say it again, that I was so lucky.
Okay.
And because I was showing them, the players, love and respect, I think that they did the same thing to me, because at my time it was so funny that I have never screamed on players. I have never, like, coming outside to tell players that it's late, go and sleep and this kind of, no, players know that you can't cross the line. I mean, you can't do certain things. And I think that I did very well, because I used myself, being the leader, I used myself as an example not to do certain things. So I think that they saying that they try not to, because if the captain, I mean, somebody who was playing Juventus, that when Siraha was Siraha, not doing certain things, I don't see why other players will misbehave in camp. So they never crossed the line, and I have never had any, I mean, no, in France, 2010, when Lai Kinson was dropped. It was very, very difficult. It was very, very difficult, because when we talk about the World Cup, I think Lai Kinson was one of the influential players who made it possible for Ghana to go to the World Cup. 2006 African Cup in Egypt, because of that incident
with Habib Bey.
Yeah, with Habib Bey. He couldn't have a chance to go to Germany. 2010, we camped in France, and he was dropped. And 2006, Lai Kinsey came to defend me. And that incident, I mean, that incident happened, it was me that he came to defend. So somebody who came for my rescue, and
this was in 2010.
No, 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, 2006.
Remind us about it.
No, 2006, where we played against Senegal.
Okay.
So it was Kohli.
Okay.
They are right back.
Okay.
Okay. He
tackled you.
Yeah, tackled me, and I still have the
mark.
Yeah, the mark there.
Wow.
So he tackled me. It was very, very bad. So I played that game. I won man of the match and FIFA Fair Player, because everybody saw that I was limping, but I finished the game and we drew 1-1. So he came and we was talking to Bey, and then I mean the referee came, and then he showed them cards, and then they banned him for 3 matches. I think two matches. And
so at the time when we qualified for the second round, we realized we had made a very big mistake by dropping him.
Exactly. I mean, that time, I mean, all of us, if it was today, because now we understand a lot of things, we can say that, no, okay, we have to go with Lai, but it didn't occur to any of us. It didn't occur to, because I think the next tournament, I think 2010 or the same tournament, Rooney too was banned for 2 matches, but England had him to the team, so he came with the team. They played their 2 matches, and then the third game he played. So we were like, Lai should be here with us, but it was.
When you were trying to manage him, you know, after the bad news had been given to him, what were some of the reactions? I mean, you guys are also very close. Aside, you know, the fact that you know, you grew up in the same neighborhood, you know, you share a lot together, and now something as precious as playing as the World Cup, something that he had fought for, had slipped out of his hands.
It was very, very bad to see Lai kissing at that evening, because I mean, I think what will be going through his head. I mean, I did everything possible for the team to qualify. 2006, I didn't have the chance, and I thought maybe I would have the chance to go to South Africa. Unfortunately, I'm not going to South Africa as well. And when you calculate your career, maybe the next 4 years you won't have the chance to go to the World Cup. And I went to his room with Richard Kingston and
his brother.
It was terrible. It was. I mean, I went to my room to sleep thinking about Lai Kingston. It was bad. It was bad. It was very, very bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you believe that we were going to go beyond the group stage? I mean, I'm talking about all of this in reference to this Lai Kingston, but did you believe that Ghana was going to go beyond the group stage, knowing the quality of opposition we had in Germany? Yeah. I mean, the US, highly rated, Czech Republic, highly rated, and the eventual winners, Italy.
Yeah. I knew we would do well. I knew we would do well, because when we played against Italy, you know, at times when you are on the pitch and play, you don't see certain things. Recently, I watched the game against Italy on GTV Sports, and I managed to call all the players who were part of that team to 2006. You
called them after watching the game?
Yeah, after watching the game. I think last year, yeah.
Why did you decide to do that?
No, because I didn't know that that's how we played. We played Italy. We played them.
So that just goes to say that you didn't even notice what you were doing. You didn't notice that you were putting up a good show.
No, when you're on the pitch, because of the pressure, the tension in the game, you don't see it unless you watch yourself, that you say that, oh, okay, so this is how I played. And I called all the players. I was like, guys, congratulations. And they were like, because I called them one by one. Why? I said, I just watched the game against Italy, and the pace and how we played Italy, I think we did well. So I called all of them, and they were very, very happy. I mean, that time with the group that we were in, it was difficult because USA was number 5, Czech Republic was number 2,
3.
Number 2 FIFA rankings, and you are playing against Italy with all the players that they have. So it was very, very difficult. But when we lost the first game, we went back to the hotel. We started to talk to ourselves. Listen, what has happened has happened. We should think about Czech Republic. We have to make sure that we are not going to lose that game against Czech Republic. And when we played against them at Cologne, they didn't see the ball. We hit the ball from them. We played them. I mean, we played them. We played them. After the game, Pavel Nedved came to me, was like, guys, if we are going to play like this, I think that you people will go far.
Wow.
And we played against USA, which number 5 in FIFA rankings. We played them as well. We were so upset to play that game because their coach granted an interview, Bruce Arena, granted an interview disrespecting us. And we went to the pay. We said, whatever we have to do to win that game, we have to. and it happened.
The game against the USA, the first one, in Germany, and how we beat them by 2-1. And you talked about how the then coach, Bruce Arena, disrespected Ghana, and how it sparked all of you. Tell me about the conversations you had amongst yourselves.
Well, I mean, before the game, 2 days before the game in camp, we were talking about we have to qualify because, I mean, beating Czech Republic, we have to do everything possible to beat USA to qualify to the 1/6. And we read an interview that Bruce Arena granted. I mean, the coach of USA, and I think that it wasn't nice with the things that he said. So in camp, we were like, if we have to kill ourselves to prove the Bruce Arena wrong, we have to. And I think we did. We did against USA. We beat them 2-1, and we qualified to 1/6.
What did you say to yourself that moment when you took the deep breath in front of the ball and you had to strike that penalty in? Well, what was running through your mind?
It was very, very difficult because I think that it was 2 minutes to the first half, and there's a penalty, and I have to take and score. And when things go through your head, people are watching you from Ghana. I mean, Ghanaians are watching you. They are not expecting anything than to see the ball back of the net. And I quite remember, I think the goalkeeper was Fredel. And before I took the penalty, I saw him jumping, hitting the post, and he was huge. And I was like, whatever I would do to put the ball in that angle, I have to. So
you had already decided where the ball was going.
Yes. I mean, playing neatly, those are the things we were taught. When you are going to good penalty takers, that's what they do. You target one place and then you just hit the ball hard there. At times you wanted to take a penalty, and then you get there, you get confused because you will see the goalkeeper moving, trying to distract you. And you get there, so you change your mind. That's where you miss the ball. So I was like, I have to target one place and hit the ball there, and that's what I did, and it was very, very beautiful.
But your idol, your mentor, Roberto Baggio, tried to do the same thing, and it didn't work in 1994. It cost Italy the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, not only Roberto Baggio, we have seen a lot of top players who miss penalties as well. And at that stage, I mean, I quite remember when I took so the USA fans, they were at where I took the penalty.
So you could see them?
Yeah, I could see them. So before the penalty, you can see it from my face. I wasn't confused. I was very, very, I believe that I will score, but it's normal. I mean, it was 1-1 and you have to score the goal to give you
the win.
The win 2-1 to go to the first half. And here you are, that you have to take that risk penalty taking is a risk as well. So I was like, oh, okay, I have to score. So my facial expression, I think at that particular moment, I lost like 5 kilos straight away. I lost like 5 kilos straight away. It was difficult, but as confident as I am, I took it and I scored. So we have seen players, top players who miss penalty as well, because it's part of the game. They will score 100 and if you put 100, they will score 99 and they miss one. Maybe that one would be the most important take, but they still miss some.
So in 2010, by the time we got to the penalty, situation with Uruguay, Asamoah Gyan was rated as one of our best penalty takers. And yes, we've gone, what, a decade plus 2 years, a dozen years after this incident, and people still talk about it because of the stage we had gotten to and the potential of making history. Now, that famous picture, that particular picture, where you had a finger up and you were speaking to Asamoah Gyan, we've had several conversations about it. But have you two talked about that picture before? You and Asamoah Gyan?
Yeah, we talk about it and we laugh about it.
I see. Tell me about it.
Okay, what happened was when Suarez used his hand to clear the ball from the post, it was today, VAR will say it's a goal. So I saw the linesman running, going towards the center line. So with the vuvuzela, and people were like, there were so many stories that I was holding the ball and Asamoah Gyan came to take the ball from me, and it wasn't true. So what happens was, he was the one holding the ball rather, and I went to him telling him that he should look at the linesman going to the center line. So that means he has accepted it as a goal. So he moved to go and take
put the ball at the penalty spot.
Yeah. So
is it that he had assumed it was a penalty already, or what?
Exactly, because Suarez used his hand. So it took the referee, I think, 5 seconds or more to decide that it was a penalty, because the ball was.
He had gone beyond the line.
Yeah, beyond the line. So he moved to go and take that penalty kick, and I mean he missed it. I mean, it happens as we talk about Roberto Baggio in the 90s. I think Brazil against Italy.
That final,
as well. And
many others.
Yeah, many. But I think that particular tournament, I think that Asamoah was the right person to take that kick. I can decide to take, but I think because against Australia, I mean, he took it and he scored. Against Serbia, perfectly. So I think that at that moment, I mean, his confidence level is very high. So. I think that he was the right person to take that kick.
Tell me about the mood and the atmosphere in the dressing room after we had lost that game to Uruguay.
It was very bad. It was very bad because.
Were there any arguments amongst players?
No. The dressing room was very quiet. Very quiet, because at that particular moment we started to enjoy the tournament, because all the African countries were out of the tournament, so everybody was supporting Ghana. I mean, when we are going to training, you will see on the road everybody Ghana. So that's where we started to feel the tournament that we have. I mean, the whole world behind us. So when that thing happened, we went to the dressing room, and I mean, we have to console him, because it wasn't. If it was Stephen Appiah, it would be the same. I would be very down, and the dressing room was very quiet, very quiet. We started to think.
What about the others who also missed that Ghanaians seem to have forgotten? John Mensah, for instance, missed a penalty, and
I think. It was very sad. You know why? Because after missing that penalty, I think we didn't. It was like a minute to end of the game. So that's why, I mean, most people felt bad. I think people should understand that it's part of the game. We have seen great players who miss penalty as well. It's 12 years, and I still, I mean, at times when you go to social media, people still think about it, people still comment about it. I think it's time that we have to, I mean, we have to let our brother be. And some of us, look, I have goosebumps because when we talk about that particular scene, it's still haunting some of us. So just imagine as someone who took that kick. So I think that we have to leave it, and yeah, we have to leave our brother because it's 12 years. It's 12 years.
Wow. Now, there's always talk about some things that distract players, that distracts the focus in camp. And case in point is Ghana versus Brazil in Germany. At the point when we played Brazil again, we were the talk of town. But what do you think it was that made us lose the game? Because we had already lost to a superpower in the game.
Yeah.
And now we had come up against another superpower, obviously the most successful team in the World Cup. So where did all the confidence go? Where did all the focus go? What happened?
The focus and the confidence was the same. I mean, you are playing against almighty Brazil. If I mention the player, I have some of the pictures, and I was like, oh, okay, so it was these players that we matched. When you watch that game, we play far better than Brazil.
That is true. I agree with you.
Far better.
I agree with you.
Because they have been in those tournaments so many times, they have the experience, and you have players like Ronaldinho, you have Brazilian Ronaldo, you have Zé Roberto, you have all these Adriano when they were in their peak, Kaká and the rest. So, of course, you will find it. So the least mistake, they won't forgive you. And that was exactly what happened. I remember when we came up too much. The first goal that I think Ronaldo scored, the one that he did the leg over against Richard Kingston, where we were too up. So they have the players and they have the quality and the technique that they can do anything with the ball. So when you come up like that, I mean, they will punish you, and they punished us. But the game itself, I think that we play far better than them.
They have the men, they have the quality. They exploited, a situation of lack of focus on our part. That's according to you. Years on, now that you're getting the opportunity to watch these games alone and do better technical analysis, do you feel that we've gotten to the time in the FIFA World Cup where now names, yeah, they play football, but then they shouldn't matter anymore, especially because of the news stories that are being told every day in football?
The game itself has changed. I mean, those are the days when maybe Madagascar is playing Argentina. You hear people saying, oh, this one it will be 6-1, this one it will be 7-1. And I've witnessed some games, I've watched some games that, I mean, the underdogs are matching the big countries. I mean, it's not like they will just come and put the ball in the net and that's it. So I'm trying to say that the names doesn't matter anymore. You are going to a tournament. I think the most important thing is prepare well. Go to a tournament with fully focused, like we are going to a tournament to make an impact. Because the names, today, there are no names in the game anymore. When we take Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, who is very young and doing well, Neymar, we don't have names anymore. So it's all about how you won the tournament, how well prepared you are, and go to a tournament. I mean, you have to focus on the tournament. So it's not about names. We just have to prepare well for the tournament, yeah.
Now, you found yourself in 2010, like I said, you played a very key role in in our campaign as well. Tell me about the days when you'd sit at the breakfast table, the kind of atmosphere that existed in camp, you know, the conversations that you'd have on match days and all of that.
When you come to those days, when you come to our camp, there was no pressure. I mean, you see everybody smiling, cracking jokes. You have a Samoajan who always cracking jokes and teasing people. And so on our tables, we will be laughing. From there, we go to training. The beauty of that time is like we know when there is time for business, there's time for business. You won't see anybody laughing, cracking jokes, or playing around. But when we finish and we come on the dining table, or when we go to our rooms, or at times we have to gather and then chit-chat before we go and sleep, and we will be cracking jokes and all that. But 2010, it was special. It was special because 2009, the transition was so perfect. I think that's the best transition we have had. 2009, Dede Ayew and his boys, Egypt, 2009 under-20 World Cup, they won. 2010 African Cup in Angola, 12 of the key players, 11 or 12 of the key players was not there. So they used the under-20 team. They placed myself, I was not there, Sule Muntari, John May, we like key players, like best 11 was not there, except Asamoah and Olele. So they pushed the under-20 boys, and they did so well, they managed to get to the finals, where they beat Cote d'Ivoire, where they beat Nigeria. They played the finals against Egypt, and we lost 1-0.
1-0, yeah.
So the same players went to 2010 World Cup, and they proved themselves. That tells you that, I mean, the transition works at that particular year. So that tournament was very, 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 very good for Ghana. That year, a player like Sule Muntari, who won 5 trophies, he won Champions League, he won the Italian Cup, Italian League, he won the Club World Cup, and another cup. 5. He was on the bench. But I think because we know how to handle things, we know how to handle stuff, Sule Muntari can get upset, but he wasn't. He took it cool because the guys, they were doing well. Took it cool. We supported him. Myself, I wasn't playing. I was on the bench. But
tell me about big players, you the big name players, and sitting on the bench. Okay, I mean, how do you process all of that? I mean, you're a big boy. I mean, you've been on that stage before, and here you are on the bench. It happened in 2010.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing because Sule was playing Inter Milan at that time. You have friends, you have colleagues that were in the same World Cup, and Sule Muntari was part of Inter Milan first 11. So it's not like he was coming from the bench or he wasn't playing at all. So you being key player for Inter Milan, going to the World Cup and not seeing yourself in the team, I think you have to have that courage to resist in camp. That's where you see other players going out of their head and doing
all sorts of things.
Yeah, all sorts of things. But luckily, we have players like Olele was there, other senior players, and things can happen. But we try to manage affairs in camp.
I see.
So it was about, just imagine those. We have players that they know that those who are playing are better than them, but they're sitting on the bench, they are not happy. They want to play as well. So just imagine someone who is playing at that highest level. Yeah, highest level, and has won 5 trophies at that particular year, and then not finding himself in the Ghanaian team. Just imagine. So I remember when he came in, he felt, I think when we played against Uruguay, he was the one who scored the goal.
Yeah.
So that was his first match. I mean, to play in that World Cup. So it wasn't a good sign. But as I said, everybody did well. We tried to manage things in camp, so things shouldn't come up.
And then the issues of money. Clearly, it is something that has always come up, only that it's been dealt with better or was managed, and danger was averted. Because we're told the story of 2006 when you got your lieutenants to come in and do the negotiation before the tournament started.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the events of 2014? You know, the fact that it had to now boil down to players not training and all of that.
I think 2014, if I want to summarize everything, I think the players, they lost trust. I was part of the backroom staff.
Yeah.
So I was with the team from Rotterdam to Miami to Brazil. And you see, players are funny. Just tell them the truth. Okay, we'll give you the money in a month time. So in their head, they know that in a month, they are going to receive the money. But here is the case where from Rotterdam, oh, the money is on the flight coming. Oh, the money, you guys will receive the money the next day. And nothing was happening. From Rotterdam to Miami, it was the same thing. From Miami to Brazil. So when we played against Portugal, I think that scene for the players trying to boycott that training at 11 o'clock, that spoiled everything.
I see.
That spoiled everything. But what I can say is it's a trust issue, and it wasn't money, because 2014, the whole World Cup, the best game of the tournament was when Ghana played against Germany. The guys, they didn't even receive $1. So was it money? No. I was so sad when I went to GMFA Commission, because the people who should come and defend the players or talk for the players, they left the players alone. So Ghanaians took it like, okay, it was the players who, the problem was coming from the players. No. You have a child, Christmas is coming. Oh, I will buy you a new dress. I will buy you a new dress. 25th, there's no new dress. Your child will never be happy.
Sure.
And that was exactly what happens. You understand? So it wasn't money issue on the side of the players. That, as I said, the best tournament, 2014, it was Ghana and Germany. At that second game, they didn't even receive $1. So it wasn't money.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Now, we've done 3. Brazil happened. You also had the opportunity to work with the head coach. Kwesi Appiah is the first Ghanaian to qualify the Black Stars to the World Cup. He never won a game, he never lost a game. You were part of his backroom staff. How's the relationship like? And how would you describe the experience?
No, it was cool. You know that it's a different thing being part, and when you are out of the old thing, you see things differently. So it was a good experience being part of the backroom staff. We try to share ideas. When we see certain things, we try to prompt the coach. And Coach Kwesi Appiah was a type who listened, who will sit with you, and he will even ask you questions. And I think that the best people is the ones who listen. So I had fun, and after that, I still work with him, being part of the technical team. We went to Egypt, African Cup, and all that. We still have a good relationship. I called him last week. We had a chat. We laughed, and he did his part. He did his part. Because I think that one thing that we are not giving credit to Coach Appiah, most of the young guys who came to the team when some of us, we left, he was the one who discovered all of them.
Yeah.
He was the one who discovered all of them. So he can have a fault somewhere, but he did something as well.
Great. Let's wrap this up, Capitano, on Attoh. Yeah. Your teammate, who has now, you led him as captain, and he became a member of your negotiation team, one of your lieutenants. Now he's in charge of the Black Stars. And he has a big responsibility.
You see, Attoh is one of those guys that you will never understand him because of the way he carried himself. You will be talking with Attoh, he's happy, but you won't see him smiling. Now he's the coach, and I'm very, very happy with George Boateng. I mean, these are two young men who they have learned so much, they have learned a lot. They understand the game. They understand the game not because I'm saying that, but they prove it when we played against Nigeria in Abuja. You know, in our system, from the local teams, from the under-17 to the national team, the senior national team, what we know is 4-4-2. But when we played against Nigeria in Abuja, I mean, we saw what they did. All of a sudden, they changed the game to 3-5-2. You can call it another system, but they changed the game. That's why Eguavon was so confused. He was standing there and not understanding the game anymore. So when you want to pick coaches, it's not only what they do at the training ground, it's their impact in the game. And I think that they showed it. So I'm very happy that, I mean, my colleague, Attoh is now the coach of the Black Stars.
And Didi Dramani is also assisting.
Oh yeah, Didi. I mean, Didi. Talking about Didi, we were in Egypt. I mean, I knew him before Egypt, and this is a man who he has so much. I mean, he's very, very intelligent. He understands the game. He reads the game. So, having Attoh, George Boateng, and Didi Dramani, I think that I mean, that's the best choice. That's the best choice. And I hope we'll go to Qatar and just not go in there, but to make an impact.
Which one do you believe? We're going to make an impact, or we're
no,
just doing
we will, because I mean, watching our players now, they are all in top form. And I mean, this is the time that I've been seeing watching Champions League, watching the Europa Cup. I've been seeing Ghanaians playing.
Okay.
So that means, I mean, they are doing well, and I hope that they will take the same form to Qatar.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What do we say in Italian? Grazie?
Grazie, grazie. Grazie.
Hey, thank you so much. It's been wonderful sharing your company.
Yeah.
And so you heard the sterling words of the El Capitano, the inspirational former captain of the Black Stars, bringing us some of the tales from his involvement in the FIFA World Cup, twice as a player and once as a member of the backroom staff. Amazing stories indeed, isn't it? Well, thank you very much for watching. Remember, we're going to bring you this on all of our channels, and so you'd have to be following us on all of this. Thank you so much for watching, and let's make time another time to have another big conversation here on the JoySports World Cup Tales. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, and I have love for sport.